The second trailer for Chapter 5 of Poppy Playtime has just been posted, and not only is it one of the most disturbing trailers, though nothing tops the Yarnaby one, bro, it also seems to be hinting at a new character that we'll be dealing with in Chapter 5. The title for it is Experiment 1202, and it's important to note that this trailer was actually posted on the short section of Mob Entertainment, much like the trailer we got for Pianosaurus, which honestly makes me wonder if this character is also going to get that piano treatment, but I digress. So today, we're going to be analyzing this new trailer to try and get a better idea of what we'll be coming across in this new chapter, and why this is even important for us to see in the first place. And like I said earlier, this was posted on the short section, so we don't have much to work with due to the length of the video. But if this ain't your first time here, then you know that don't mean squat. We still got a lot to talk about. But moving into the trailer, it starts off with a pretty close shot of a mangled Hoppy Hopscotch head, and as the camera pans away, we begin to see the state of this toy. A broken left eye and what seems to be bite marks on the mouth and ears. The head falls to the ground once the other pieces of toys are in view, including what I recognize to be two more Hoppy heads and Huggy hands, and they all seem to be hung up on hooks. Behind all of this seems to be a Yarnaby decorated padding wall or some sort of mattress with a yellow curtain draped on the left side. And below, we can see a rail-guarded conveyor belt positioned right under these hooks with the fallen Hoppy head on top of them, possibly hinting at whatever creation or destruction process that they're currently going through. Why did I mention creation or destruction? I'll get into that a bit later, but what immediately comes after the zooming out of the camera is a shadow of a critter that doesn't really look familiar. For starters, it looks bald, and it's running like it just found food. But what comes after the running makes you think that this wasn't an accident. After the silhouette hobbles off screen and to the right, it seems like Lil Bro got the life shocked out of him, because the next thing we see is blue sparks flying from the right side of the screen, the same side he went to, and a similar shadow from before violently shaking from an electric shock. And right after this, the trailer ends. Go figure. But before the trailer ends and before the supposed electrocution finishes, we actually see a familiar face at the very top right of the screen. The same face that's supposedly been appearing teaser after teaser. There was the Fortnite loading screen teaser, the Halloween teaser, and now this new short trailer. Is this Experiment 1202? And does this mean that this character will serve a more important role in the game? Will this character be our enemy, an ally, and how does his current appearance in this trailer correlate to what we actually see in it? Before answering any of those questions, we have to get a good idea as to what this area even is and what purpose it serves. So let's look at the immediate clues. An array of hooks holding dismembered toys, a conveyor belt below also having toy parts likely for the transferring of these dismembered toys, and a wall of cushion and cloth matching the vibe and theme of the factory. We could honestly just chalk this up to be where the toys are salvaged, especially considering not only the variety of parts, but also the fact that there are multiples of the same parts from the same type of toy. But if this were true, then could the electrocution just be a step towards that ultimate salvaging process? Could this system be someone's way of passively scrapping toys without the constant need of getting their hands dirty? The reason I say passively is because we don't see or hear anything that makes this new toy become attracted to this off-screen device. A device that seems to kill you if you get too close or make contact with. Does this mean that there's some type of bait attracting the toy? It could be something as simple as food presented as a toy who had already perished before it. Similar to what we see in the Chapter 4 trailer when a dog day critter gets pounced on by a Baba Chop toy whilst trying to enjoy a happy little meal. You can't have nothing in this factory, bro. He was minding his. But if we were to move with the theory that this contraption is a way of salvaging the toys, then the next question becomes, who is this contraption for? We could always default the answer to the prototype, especially considering the fact that Chapter 5 will be taking place down in the labs, which is where the prototype has been keeping all of the orphans, as stated by Poppy in Chapter 4. And let me tell y'all this right now. If it turns out that Poppy was lying in chapter 5 and the orphans are not there, then she's giving me yet another reason to shut a vault door on her head the same way we did Mr. Light. Fun fact, that's actually one of my favorite characters in Poppy Playtime. But remember how I made note of this mattress here? I might be digging too far into things, but could this be a sign towards Harley Sawyer being involved with this in some sort of way? Of course not currently, we already took care of him back in chapter 4. But from the VHS tapes that we've gathered, specifically the tape titled Time, we know that Sawyer and the prototype were affiliated with each other, though it was more like the prototype dangling a cup of water over Sawyer's digital body and threatening to pour it if he ain't do his bidding.
Have I made an error in allowing your survival?
If the location that we're venturing into now is confirmed to be the location where the toys were experimented on, then wouldn't it make sense for Sawyer to know of this machine's existence? And if he did, does that really change anything for us? To be honest, not really. If anything, it would just confirm the prototype's behavior of repurposing what isn't his and using it for something he deems greater. So in a sentence, could this machine be the prototype's way of attracting and killing lingering toys in order to salvage their bodies for a greater purpose? Back in chapter 3, things were honestly set up to make it seem like there were two sides of the story. Poppy's side and the prototype side. When we come across Dog Day in chapter 3, he states that what he's going through is what they do to heretics. The reason I bring all of this up is because if we were to accept the theory that this is a killing machine specifically for the prototype's plans, then would the killing consist of toys who are against him, or does it just not matter? Whatever narrative we try to paint for this, the facts are that an unknown toy, possibly being the bigger body version of the toy we see in the top right corner, is seen by its shadow walking the right, walking to the right, and then getting the life shocked out of him, literally. I really doubt that this will go unnoticed by the prototype, whether this be for him or someone else. But now let's move on to the silhouette itself, and I need to make note of the claws and teeth from this thing. Just off of that little detail, I'm willing to bet that this character isn't in addition to the critters at all, with the only possible correlation being its size. I wanted to go into a whole section about whether this thing would be a friend or ally as said above, or not above, you guys can't see the script. But then I'm like, wait, they just showed bro dying. And then I started getting hit with waves of questions. Is the toy on the top right corner the bigger body's version of the silhouette? If not, which one is experiment 1202, which is the title of the video? Is it the shadow, the toy? Could this contraption not be a contraption at all and experiment 1202 actually has electricity manipulation and doesn't like to be bothered, so when bro hobbled over to say what's up, he got shocked to death? Regardless of what we can make of the trailer, the intent is here. Not only is Mob trying to keep the hype up for chapter 5, but they're telling us the story for it along with it. Sure, it may be in the form of breadcrumbs and cornflakes, but that's why we're here. We'll of course get the answers that we want in due time, but there's always a chance that what gets teased ends up being another missing piece to solve this whole mystery. Speaking of mysteries, I did mention my speculation video about what's gonna happen to Huggy in chapter 5, and this new trailer might actually have more clues that'll help us figure things out. What I'm talking about specifically is the Huggy Wuggy hand that we see not only on one of the hooks, but also on the conveyor belt. But if you look at where we are in the duration of this video, you're gonna figure out real quick that I'm about to cliffhanger you. But the good news is that the Huggy script has already been finished. I had the idea that Mob would drop something else soon and wanted to tie it into that theory if it ended up correlating at all. And that hand right there is all the info I need. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and click on this video right here.